What's up, everybody? Chris, the old ass retro gamer here, back with another recent pickups live stream. It's been a weird month. I'm pretty sure everyone can say that. So the Midwest Gaming Classic was supposed to happen this month, and I had set aside a lot of money to spend there, and including my tax return. So, as you saw last month in the recent pickups live stream, I didn't expect there to be one for March because that was, I was putting all that money aside to go to the convention, and because the convention got canceled, I ended up spending all of that money elsewhere on video gaming things. And this is the month that I used up my tax return on everything that I was going to spend at the Midwest, I was going to spend my tax return at the Midwest Gaming Classic. I ended up just spending it here because no convention. Sadness ensued. But I ended up getting a lot of really cool stuff. Some people that know me know exactly what I got, and they were just like, what? You do? Okay. So, what's up, Cap Algebra? Remember Kenna forever in our hearts, yo. So, yeah, this has been a interesting month socially. Haven't had much of a social life, at all, unless you count texting. But I've been trying to play more video games. What's up, TJ? Welcome to the stream. I've been trying to play more games. Mostly because the Super Enabler Brothers podcast is kind of forcing me to play games in my backlog that I've been putting off. But usually I end up spending the time that I should be playing video games watching TV shows that I have always wanted to watch. So, yeah. Picard's kind of awesome. Anyway, so doing streams? I don't think so. Oh, God. Well, I get a chance to talk to people live, so maybe. So, yeah, this month has been pretty cool. I got a lot of interesting stuff, and, watching people streaming online gives me ideas on games I should add to the collection. A lot of sales I found online, and just special circumstantial stuff. I got a bunch of stuff from a guy that I work with who was like, oh, I don't play these games anymore. You can have them. They're from another country, but you can have them because why not? So, yeah, I have a lot of really cool stuff here. One of them is so big I can't actually show it off in the video. I'll have to show you a picture on my phone because I could not find anything to set it on that actually could roll into frame so you could see it. So you're gonna have to do with a picture of it on my phone. So let's get into the games. First things first, gotta wet the old whistle here. Gotta keep the throat moisturized because I'll go hoarse otherwise. I'm a poet and didn't know it. Goddamn. Yes, I have. I bought two of those Cap Algebra. Got two of them. They're in my living room, and they're holding my Xbox 360, OG Xbox, PlayStation 2, PSP, and Vita games on them. And yes, you can attach them to the wall and everything. They screw in, and they are very good. I can actually send you the picture of how I have everything organized on them if you would really like that. What's up, 8-Bit Glitch? What's going on, man? Welcome to the stream. So let's get into these games real quick, shall we? All right, so I talked about this on the Super Enabler Brothers podcast, but there is a company that makes repros called Fishy Faced Games. I've bought a couple of games from them in the past. That giant SimCity for NES set that I bought, got it from them. Also picked up Shin Megami Tensei on the Super Nintendo through them. They make super quality products. Only downside is because they are so good quality, they cost a lot of money, and which is why I don't buy more things from them. I mean, that SimCity thing cost almost $300. That proves how much of a SimCity fan I am if I was willing to spend that kind of money on that. No, it was $200, not $300. I'd shoot myself in the foot if I did that. Yeah, it was about $200. Anyway, so right before April, it was like right when the pandemic thing started to get really bad, and they started telling everybody, you gotta start staying indoors and everything. They had what's in my phone? They had a sale to encourage people to spend money, and I took advantage of it. There was a bunch of stuff. They had limited stuff. It was like they were trying to get rid of backed stuff that they made a while ago that they just wanted to get rid of in order to have room for new stuff that they were going to make. So I bought 2 older games. One of them is a repro of a Famicom game called Just Breed. It sounds like a porn game. Just wanna breed. Ever see Willow? Whatever. So I looked this up, and it's an RPG, and it looks a little bit like a mix between like a Final Fantasy game and the original Dragon Warrior, and take control of 6 different characters, each with their own army of troops. That sounded kind of cool. Unique team spirits battle system gives you complete control over every enemy encounter. Battery backup, and features the MMC5 mapper chip, which allows for this massive adventure to fit into a single video game. So I'm assuming that the Famicom game itself came in one of those giant cartridges, like my Madara that I have for the Famicom came in a huge cartridge. That's what she said, all right. So I did an unboxing of this on that episode of the last episode of the Super Enabler Brothers show. Comes with a really nice looking manual that is in full color, white cart. Really nice label that's actually like embossed. It has like raised parts to it, which is kind of neat. And it also comes with like a display stand, so you can put the cartridge out in the open for everyone to gawk at, which I will not do. The SimCity for the NES repro that I got through them came with the same type of thing, but no, I'm going to keep it in the giant box that I paid all that money for. Thank you very much. But I watched some footage on YouTube of this game, and that was what convinced me to get it. I'm trying to play more RPGs this year, and this seemed like a really interesting, unique one that we never got over here in the US, so there was that. The other game I picked up from them is for the Game Boy Color, and I know Radical Reggie was talking about this in videos from years ago, and it always piqued my interest because I was just kind of like, I wonder how that would work on the Game Boy Color, since I'm not really a fan of the Game Boy Color. But this was discounted on the Fishy Face Games website, so I picked it up, and that is Star Ocean Blue Sphere. I do believe this comes after the PS1 game, and it's like a side story. It's not like officially part of the main storyline. I guess this just deals with a couple of characters on the side. And it says 2 years after the battle with the Sage, which is, I do believe, the plot of the PlayStation 1 game. The 12 heroes meet again as a new story begins to unfold. Several improvements have been made, such as an all-new growth system based on skills and thrilling battles fought in real time. And you can use the Game Boy Link cable to play with friends or exchange items. So it's got a little bit of a Pokemon thing going on. But it is another sci-fi RPG. I have always wanted to play through the Star Ocean games. I did start playing the Star Ocean game that came out on the PlayStation. I did start playing that when it first came out. I bought a copy of it because I was kind of getting burnt out on Final Fantasy VII back then, and I was having problems with it, actually, if I remember correctly, so I wanted to play another RPG, and I bought Star Ocean, but I just lost interest in it, so I'm going to do another unboxing here, because these things need to be open. Let's see what this thing has on the inside. Oh, shit, don't fall! Let's see here. Open up, bitch! There we go. So, really nice box, really nice artwork. Looks like a legit game. But the only thing is, these boxes of theirs are tight. Like, if we get another "that's what she said" joke. So, once again, it comes with a actually pretty awesome looking stand to display the game out in the open if you wanted to. I do believe that this is relevant to something in the game. Or, sorry, the design of this is relevant to the game. Comes with a very thick manual. I mean, Jesus, look at this thing. God damn, full color. That's pretty awesome, too. And the game itself, which is on a translucent blue cart, which is pretty awesome. So, I need to get into the Star Ocean games. I need to find I think it's for the Super Famicom the first one was released for. I can't be sure. God damn, close, you beach. Yeah, I want to get into these. Like I said, this is supposed to be the year of the RPG for me, and I'm currently playing Kingdom Hearts in an effort to start doing that. Get in there. That's what's making this box so fat, is that display stand, which is not really necessary. That's the only thing that they do. Like those 3D printed display stands really aren't necessary, at least to me. It's called Fishy Face Games, and I am all washed out. There we go. FishyFaceGames.com. Holy shit, what the hell is going on here? I highly recommend them. Like they said, they're expensive. The sale might still be going on right now, but I can't be sure. Like I said, once I bought these, I haven't really gone back to the website, but I follow them on Instagram, and that's where I found out about the sale. I highly recommend you follow their Instagram page, because that's where they announce like all the new games that they're going to be releasing in repro form. Like they're going to be working on some Super Mario World, Super Nintendo, something or other now. The guy just hinted at it, I think, yesterday. So I picked up this Game Boy game because of T-Belly. He was streaming this, and I always assumed that this was just a port of the NES game, which is why I never wanted to buy it. Because I was like, I'll just play the real version of the game. I don't need some dumbed-down version of it on the Game Boy. And then by watching T-Belly stream it, I realized that it was not. It's its own game. It just shares the same name, same artwork, same everything. We're talking Battletoads on the Game Boy. So I'm a huge fan of developer Rare, who developed this and the original NES game. And I want to get all their games if I can. That's one of my long-term goals, is to get all the games developed by Rare. And by watching T-Belly stream this, I found out that it is a totally different Battletoads game. Why they didn't call it something else and use different artwork, I don't know, because that's what confused me back in the day and convinced me that I didn't need to buy it. But it is pretty awesome looking. I was watching T-Belly stream it. It looks super fun. It's a platformer and sort of a beat-em-up, and there's also a lot of shmup levels in it also, which is pretty cool. And I love the original Battletoads. It's a hard-ass game, but fun, and that looked fun as well, which is why I picked it up. So I picked up a lot of Game Boy Advance games. No, let's not do that just yet. Let's go over here. So, I'm not a fan of the Nintendo 64, but my buddy Felix the Brett from Facebook has a eBay store, and he had put a feeler out on Facebook to say, hey, I just put a whole bunch of new stuff up on my eBay store, go check it out. I did. There's a lot of cool stuff there that I will eventually like to pick up, but what got me was he was selling the box and manual and insert for F-Zero X on the Nintendo 64. And this is one of the few N64 games I really enjoyed back in the day. I now have, I'm missing one for the Game Boy Advance, one F-Zero game, and then I have all of them. But I've been wanting to get this back in my collection because I loved it back in the day, like I said, and this was the excuse to do it. It was the kick in the butt I needed, because he was selling the box and everything really cheaply, and I just needed to get a cartridge, and I found that right away pretty cheap. Also, only issue is when it showed up, I was just kind of like, oh, this is not what it looked like in the picture. I think I bought one that had a stock photo, but it is like rubbed off, and the label is like rubbed off and sun bleached and everything. It looks like somebody like put bleach on it. Maybe they were trying to drink it. I don't know. Ha ha! Jokes. But really awesome 3D racing game. Natural evolution of the Super Nintendo game. It is absolutely batshit crazy though. It is like your eyes will go while you're playing it. And then the GameCube game took it a step further and made it even more psychotic. But absolutely fantastic racing game. I highly recommend it if you like the original game. Then I got these Game Boy Advance games. There's a lot of games I got off of eBay. And when you work out how much each of them ended up costing, when you split them up, then it was well worth the effort. And I'm talking a bunch of Lord of the Rings games. Picked up The Hobbit, the prelude to the Lord of the Rings. Originally, this was released on the GameCube, the PlayStation 2, and the Xbox. I was watching Musty Hobbit stream the Xbox version about a month ago, and it looked really fun. It's like a 3D collectathon platformer. But this version is like a top-down RPG like Legend of Zelda. And obviously you can't do a 3D game like that on the Game Boy Advance, so obviously they're going to have to change it. So I saw what this game was, and this was the one I was initially looking for, because I wanted to try that out. And it looks pretty fantastic, so I picked that up. And it also came with The Two Towers, Lord of the Rings, The Two Towers, and the console versions of this game were like a beat-em-up, which are fun, really fun. But this is a top-down, to me it looks like Diablo. I haven't had a chance to play these yet, but it looks pretty fantastic. So I was happy that that came with, and I also got Return of the King with that as well, and it's more of the same. But this one looks more isometric than the Two Towers game. So I'm pretty happy about that. Can't wait to try these out. They look pretty awesome. I keep on getting washed out. What is going on here? Computer, what are you doing to me? You're making me look like a ghost. Jesus. There we go. Shall we continue? All right, so Captain Algebra just streamed some of this last night. I wasn't able to stay for the whole stream. I had some stuff I needed to do, but I was just kind of like, when I saw that this was the game he was streaming, I was just like, hey, I just picked that up at the beginning of the month, so that's kind of a quinky-dink. We're talking the Data East Arcade Classics collection for the Wii. And I've been looking for this for the longest time. It is, for some reason, really expensive. Like, arcade game collections on the Wii, for some reason, go for a lot of money. And some of them on the Xbox 360 also. This one is like one of the highest priced ones out there. I don't understand why. There's also one for the LA Guns or LA Machine Guns arcade games that has like 2 arcade games on it. They're like on-rail shooters. That one is super expensive also. I want that. But I got this off of Amazon decently cheap. I think I paid like $40 for it, which is a lot, but, you know, I've been wanting this for so long, I just wanted to get it off my list. And now that I had my tax return money to blow on it, I was just kind of like, I'll do it. So what games are on here? We're talking, well, on the front, you got Burger Time, Crude Buster, Side Pocket, Caveman Ninja, Peter Pepper's Ice Cream Factory. Is that a sequel to Burger Time? Magical Drop 3, which I always thought was an SNK game. Wizard Fire, Express Raider, Heavy Barrel, which is what I was watching Captain Algebra play last night. Secret Agent, Burnin' Rubber, Lock and Chase, the original Bad Dudes, Street Hoop, and more. Oh, there's 15 classic games on here. Okay, so that is it. Anyway, but I always used to play a lot of these games in the arcade. I used to play Heavy Barrel all the time. I used to play Bad Dudes and Burger Time. Burger Time is probably one of my favorite arcade games. If I had room in my place for those arcade one-ups, I would definitely buy the one that had Burger Time on it, because that's one of my favorite arcade games of all time. Back in the day, I used to play that nonstop. And I still need to find a copy of it on the NES so I could play it. But Magical Drop is also a really fun arcade game where it's more like Tetris in reverse, which is pretty awesome. You collect gems, and then you shoot them back up at the screen with other colored gems of the same color and try to get them off the screen. So, here comes the big item for the month. So, Musty Hobbit streamed this for his anniversary, his streamiversary, or whatever it was, his like 2nd year or 1 year streamiversary. And the thing he was playing was something that I actually, Jesus with this thing. Oh, computer, you're killing me. What are you doing? Anyway, where was I? Yeah, he was streaming this for his streamiversary, and it was on my list of things I was going to look for at the Midwest Gaming Classic. And since that did not happen, I said, let's just try to find a copy of it and the accessory that goes with it right now. So while he was streaming it, I was like, hell with it, let's go on eBay and check it out. And I found the complete set, the complete thing. It was the game and the peripheral. Or no, it was both games and the peripheral together. And yeah, it was expensive, but I expected to pay that much. I did not get it in the box. I do not have room for that gigantic box that this thing comes in originally. I did not have any room for that at all in my place. So I was just looking for the peripheral and the games. And we're talking Steel Battalion on the original Xbox. And it also came with the sequel, Steel Battalion Line of Contact. Only issue is, Steel Battalion is a mech game, like Battletech. But it requires the use of a specific controller to play it. Otherwise, the game is completely useless. You cannot use a regular controller for this at all. The sequel is online only, and the servers have been shut down for years. I wanted it mostly just because it's connected to this. And I do believe Musty Hobbit said something about there are like independent servers out there that people are still running that you can actually still play this, as long as I get my Xbox modded, which I'm not sure if I want to do or not. So, what is the whole deal with the controller I keep talking about? Well, it is. I think it has the most buttons. Oh my god, computer, you are ticking me the hell off. Ugh. It has the most amount of buttons for any controller like ever made. And we're talking the original controller. So here's a picture of it when I first got it. I took a picture and sent it to one of my friends and say, hey, remember this? The thing is massive. It is about, if I were to have the thing on my desk, it would take up the entire length of my desk here. And then this bottom part here are the pedals. Whoops. Are the pedals that you need to use to move the mech that you are playing as. You have 2 different control sticks, all these different buttons that do all different things, control different weapons. There's an eject button. There's like a speed, like a gear. Yeah, like a gear shift. Oh man, I was watching Musty stream and I was just like, that was on my list. Fuck it, let's just do it. And it's crazy. And then Musty said, look out, there's 2 versions of this controller floating around. There's the one that I have, which is the original one, where all the buttons are either red or green. And then there was like a reissue that they made a few months later where the green buttons were replaced with blue ones. And that's like a less desirable version. I didn't want that. I wanted the original one, the green one. And when it showed up, the guy packed it extremely well. It's in like pristine collection or condition. The only thing that was wrong was it separates. All the different components of it separate, so you don't have to have it connected all the time. One of the screws was missing, but it's not a big deal. I can just find a screw of the same size and stick it in there. It's not a big deal. So yeah, I was playing this, and it is really complicated to remember what everything does. I don't have like a desk in front of me where I could play it, so I have to have the controller on my coffee table, and I have to kind of sit half off of my couch to use the pedals. It's just really weird. I need like a desk that's pretty high up in order to play this thing properly, because I'm kind of hunched over playing it, and it's not really that fun. So I need to find some other way to play it. I might just have to take my little TV out of my bedroom, put it on my kitchen table, and then play it on my, on my dining room table. That'd probably be the best way to do it. But it's awesome that I finally I've been able to add this to my collection. Back in the day, when it first came out, I thought it was a joke. I was not interested in it at all. I was like, there's no way in hell I'm going to be spending that kind of money on a controller. Computer, you're killing me. I never thought I would ever spend that kind of money on a controller. We'd go to the local, me and my friend, like at lunch at work sometimes, we would go to the local EB Games and look around, see if there's anything that had been sold to the place, so we could buy a cheap used game or something. And they always had like 2 Steel Battalions on the floor by the register, and we'd all look at it and go, no. And yeah, I never thought about it. So my tune changed on it when I got back into collecting. I played the Battletech, like the pods that they have at the Midwest Gaming Classic every year. I used to play it when it was at the Dave & Buster's downtown Chicago. It was really, really fun, so I wanted to get back into a mech game and play something kind of crazy like that, and I'm glad that I added it to my collection. I need to find time to play it more, and this computer is making me so mad right now. Does it look bad on the stream? Yeah, look how washed out I am. On my screen, it looks like I am a ghost. I'm just going to say the hell with it. Screw it. I look washed out. I look washed out. Anyway, let's keep going. So, Steel Battalion, awesomeness. So, was this yesterday? A guy that I work with who's from Germany, huge gamer, he's been like slimming down his collection, so he asked me if you, oh my god, this is just, I'm sorry guys, I keep having to I shouldn't have to keep messing with this stupid thing. A homebrew new Xbox games using that controller, I'd be totally down to use this for just one game. Like I spend that much money on it? Yeah, I should. I should stream the shit out of it and just stream nothing but for the amount of money I paid for that. Anyway, so yeah, this guy, he was like, yeah, I have kids now, I don't have time to play all these older games. If I do play games, it's going to be for the newer consoles. I need to get rid of some of this older stuff. You want it? And I said, yeah, sure. Only thing is, he's from Germany. He bought these games while he was still living in Germany, so these are the European versions of the games, but they're for the PlayStation 3, and the PlayStation 3 is region-free, so it's not a big deal. So yesterday, he handed me Army of Two, the 40th Day. This is the European version of it. I've never played an Army of Two game before. This is the first one I've ever owned. I should now probably go and try to find the other games in the franchise. I think there's 3 of them, but it's like a co-op cover-based shooter, kind of like Gears of War. You can play it with 2 players cooperatively, which is, I guess, the way you want to play it. It's the preferred way to play it. Or you can play it online, multiplayer that way, or you can play it local, like co-op, couch co-op, or you can just play it single player and the computer controls the other guy. Like I said, have never played one of these before, so that was pretty cool to get that. The other one he gave me is pretty cool. Like when he gave it to me, I was just like, "What is this?" Like I didn't know this was a thing. Oh my god, computer, you're gonna be the death of me. It's because of this light up here. You know what? Yep. Sorry. I might be a little darker now. I can turn down the brightness on my screen. Yeah, that's horrible looking. Whatever. Is that better? God, that was ticking me off. Prince of Persia. This is the reboot that they made for this generation. It was like they had done like the Sands of Time and the Warrior Within, and I can't remember what the third one was called. So they'd done like the Prince of Persia trilogy, and then they wanted to reboot the franchise. And they did like this cel-shaded version. You have like this claw glove, and people hated it. I didn't like it either. I bought it like day one because I was like, new Prince of Persia, I love that franchise. And I played it for a couple of hours, and I was like, no. So I got rid of it. But this is the limited edition version. I don't think we got this over here in America. And you open it up, it's like magnetically sealed, and it has the game inside. And the way you can really tell that this is a European game is when you look at the spine, because all the PlayStation games in Europe have this bland-ass spine with just like a generic print instead of like the actual font that's on the front cover like the one that I used to have. The inside of this box actually has this book that's Stories and Secrets of Prince of Persia. And it's basically a comic book, which is pretty cool. And it also has this, this bonus content disc, which I did get with my original copy of it when I bought it back in the day. It came like inside in like a little slipcase, but it's this bonus content disc, and it has video trailers, the original soundtrack, wallpapers, a messenger kit, news widget, and more exclusive content. I need to insert this DVD into my PC. I don't think it'll work on my Mac because they didn't like it back then. And it also has this code to unlock the Sands of Time in-game skins to play in the game. Yippee yahoo. But not a big fan of this game, but to have this edition of it, I mean, even the inside has like really cool artwork and stuff inside. Makes me want to give it another shot. Maybe it'll be okay, but I remember Peter from Waves and Games said that he thought this one was excruciatingly boring. So, that's a thing. Anyway, let's move on. So, I did my PS Vita collection video. I think I also talked about the 3DS and the same one, collection video or live stream a couple weeks back. It made me start thinking about my Vita and how I've been like neglecting it for the last couple of years. I haven't really turned it on in 2 years, which is kind of a shame. So I started looking into more PS Vita games to add to my collection. I ordered this like a month ago and it just finally showed up. What's going on with Canada Post? I don't know. But I picked up a copy of Injustice, Gods Among Us, the Ultimate Edition. I have this for my PlayStation 4. And it's like Mortal Kombat with DC Universe characters. This is the Complete Edition that has like all the DLC characters built into it, which is exactly what I have for the PlayStation 4. The reason I got this was after I made that PS Vita and 3DS video or live stream, I started playing my Vita again, and the game that was still inside my Vita was Mortal Kombat, like the Mortal Kombat 9 Mortal Kombat game that came out for the Vita. Was that Mortal Kombat? Yeah, Mortal Kombat 9. And I was like, oh, I forgot how much fun like a fighting game is on the Vita. It's actually pretty cool. I'm like, didn't they release Injustice for that too? So I actively went looking for this because I thought this would be really fun to play on the Vita as well. So that's why I picked this up, and I can't wait to dive into it. Like I said, excuse me, I got the hiccups. This just showed up yesterday, even though I ordered it about a month ago, which is stupid. Let's get another drinky drink. So how's everybody doing tonight? Everybody staying safe? They just made a rule in Illinois that if you are going outside, you are absolutely required to wear a face mask now, starting May 1st. So luckily my employer has given us face masks to use. They look kind of like a painter's mask, but it's really thick. It's actually considered a respirator. I had to get training on it and sign off on it because these are used in healthcare, like, you know, which is where I work. So it's kind of funny. Everyone's looking at me like, that isn't a thing. I'm like, yeah, this is a thing. This is actually a respirator. It actually takes effort to breathe in and out through it. So I'm kind of set. And it's built to last, too, which is kind of cool. All right, so I was talking last stream, the last month's pickup stream, that there was a giant sale on Target, and I think there was one at Best Buy too, where it was like buy 2 games, get, what was it? No, buy 3 games, get 1 free, or buy 2 games, get 1 free, or whatever, and I took advantage of it. I ended up showing off a lot of these in the Xbox One live stream that I did last week, and I'm just going to go over them really quick since I've already talked about them. I got Darksiders Genesis. I'm trying to get all the Darksiders games on the Xbox One. And I have Darksiders 3 and now Darksiders Genesis. I just need to get the Darksiders War Mastered Edition and Darksiders 2. There's like a complete edition of that also. These are like 3D action beat-em-up type games. Each one deals with a different Horseman of the Apocalypse. And one of my friends who played the original game said that the original game reminded him of Ocarina of Time, and that's why he loved it so much, so that really got me interested in wanting to play these games. So I'm not going to play any of those until I get every game in the franchise. Is everyone else frozen or just me? Yeah, I can still see myself moving around. Yep. Reboot, man, reboot! Refresh! I also picked up Avicii and Vector. Apparently Avicii is a DJ. I've never heard of him before. And the only reason I looked into this was part of that sale on Target. I saw it in the listings of games, and I was like, what the hell is that? So I looked it up on YouTube, and it's a rhythm game. It uses the music that Avicii has made. I guess he recently passed away, or a year ago or something like that. He passed away, and this game is, like, dedicated to him. And it's all about his music, and it's kind of like playing, if you've ever played, oh god, what's it called? It's on Steam. I cannot remember the name of it now. Oh god, I'm just brain farting all over it. I cannot remember. It's like you have a track that you're playing as a spaceship. There's a track with 3 separate lanes, and you have to hit buttons in each lane, or there's targets in each lane that you need to hit a button to correspond with it in order to go along with the rhythm. And that's like this other game that I have for Steam. I cannot remember the name of it. Anyway, I mentioned it in that live stream for the Xbox One if you want to find out what the name of it is, because I'm brain farting on it right now. But the thing is, sometimes the track will end and your ship will actually fly off into space and you control it, and there are rings that you have to fly through, like Superman 64, to the rhythm of the game. And somebody apparently died because there's ambulances and shit flying by right behind me. And I was like, oh, that's kind of interesting. So I was like, I love rhythm games. Why not get another one? So I picked this one up. It was really cheap. It was like $14 or something. So it was cool, even though I'm not really a fan of the DJ music or whatever. I love rhythm games, so I wasn't going to pass that up. When I got to the store, yeah, and the N95. I don't think that's what I have. That's in my car. I left it in my car. I also picked up Jumanji, the video game. This is like a multiplayer game. Unite in adventure and laughter in the action-packed game based on Jumanji. I've been trying to buy a copy of this for at least one console, and this was the one I got it for because it was on sale on that site. So it looks like it's a fun multiplayer game for like parties and stuff. So I picked that up so next time I have friends over, when we're actually allowed to have friends come over again, I don't know. That's something we can play. I also picked up Sekiro: Shadows Die Twice. I've been wanting to pick this up for a long time, but I'm afraid to play it because I recently just played my first like Dark Souls style game, which was Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order, and I really enjoyed it. So I was like, okay, now that I have all those Dark Souls games, I can play through that. I need to get Bloodborne so I can play through that. And Sekiro is the newest one from Software, which is, you know, the whole Dark Souls thing came from. They made Dark Souls. Jesus Christ. But this one I hear is like punishingly difficult. Like people have given up because they're like, it's too damn hard. And then I watched somebody like Power Metal Gamer platinum it. So we'll see. Eventually I'll play it. And the last one was Zombieland Double Tap Road Trip. I got this because Captain Algebra mentioned that he also took part in that Target sale. And I wasn't really interested in this, even though I want to get licensed games, because licensed games nowadays are pretty rare for the consoles. They kind of burned out last generation. But I was like, Zombieland, since I'm not a fan of the films, I was like, I don't really care about the game. And then Captain Algebra said, it's a twin-stick shooter. And I said, oh, really? So I went over there and picked it up, and it looks kind of cool. So there's that. The only other game I got in that sale that wasn't for the Xbox One is the Bard's Tale 4 Director's Cut Day 1 Edition. This is a dungeon crawler. I love dungeon crawlers, so I was definitely going to pick this one up. I need to find out if there's a Bard's Tale 2 and 3 available somewhere for me to play. Because I have Bard's Tale 1, now I have 4. I got 2 games in between I'm missing. That's some bullshit. So this also has bonus content, which is kind of cool, I guess. An enhanced edition, discover new items and enemies and additional dungeons and a lot more. Yeah. What are friends? I don't have friends. What are friends? Now we're talking nothing but PlayStation 4 for a while. One of the things I decided to do when the MGC didn't happen was, find some things that I've been wanting to purchase with my tax return. So one of the things I wanted to do is I've been wanting to really play the Devil May Cry games. I watched Musty Hobbit stream Devil May Cry 5 on Twitch a long time ago. It was last year sometime. And it looked absolutely insane, but a lot of fun. So I do have that on the PlayStation 4. So I went out and found a copy of the Devil May Cry HD collection on the PlayStation 4. This has Devil May Cry 1, 2, and the special edition of Part 3 on it. I only played a little bit of the original Devil May Cry game back when it was first released. And for some reason I had a hard time getting into it. I guess it was originally supposed to be like a Resident Evil game or something, and they were trying to go in a different direction, but everyone was like, no, don't do that. And they revamped it and turned it into a new franchise, Devil May Cry, and I liked it when I was playing it. I just, for some reason, it just didn't grip me, and I went on to play something else. Like, something else distracted me, and I was just kind of like, I'll get back to Devil May Cry, and I never did. So like I said, it just didn't hold my interest for very long. But everyone tells me that the franchise is fantastic. I guess Part 2 isn't that great, but whatever. So there's that. Also picked up the definitive edition of DMC Devil May Cry. This is like the reboot of Devil May Cry. And I guess in the original version, like, you see Dante, the main character, on the cover of this. He has like bright, he has white hair, Even on the back, you can see all the other covers. He has white hair. I guess when they released the original version of Devil May Cry, the reboot, or DMC, he had black hair. And like the entire fan base lost their collective shits. I mean, people were going absolutely crazy, and they had to patch the game to make it white again. Like, you call the guy Dante, but he isn't Dante. What the hell? So I guess it's just like a reimagined version of the first game, I guess. Or I don't know if it's supposed to be a spinoff or what. Since I haven't played any of these, besides just a little bit of the original, I don't know what to expect. But Rocket Sauce, who is a huge fan of this franchise, was like, avoid that one. It's not good. But I want to get all of them in the franchise. I just need to get the PlayStation 4 version of Devil May Cry 4, which I might have ordered already. It just hasn't shown up yet. Don't tell anyone. Shh. This just showed up yesterday. No, this showed up on Monday. And I forgot that I had pre-ordered this. But Jason of Corpse Flood Gaming told me about this. And I was like, ooh, licensed game based on a franchise I love, except the last movie, which was absolute trash. I need that in my life. So I pre-ordered Predator Hunting Grounds, thinking that this was going to be like a modern-day Predator game, like 3D. I don't know if you can play as the Predator, or you can play as the people hunting the Predator. I don't know what it was going to be. Like, there was nothing online about it, really. And I was like, yes, I need it. And then the information about it came out, and from what it sounds like, it's like Friday the 13th on the PlayStation 4 and the Xbox and the Switch, where it's a big multiplayer online game where you have a bunch of people that are going to be playing as the prey, and one person randomly gets picked to be the predator. And every time you play, a different person gets picked to be the predator, and, craziness and violence ensues. So I was like, shit. I haven't opened it yet. I don't know if I'm going to keep it. I don't get a chance to play these online type of games very often. I keep on saying I want to play more Friday the 13th online, but no one has the time, or no one, their schedules just don't jibe or whatever. So I don't know if I want to have another game like this in my collection, so I'm still debating whether or not I'm going to keep it. But like I said, it's still sealed, so I might send it back. It's a cool idea. It sounds cool, but like I said, I don't have time for that kind of shit. So because of Resident Evil 3 remake coming out, I realized that I needed one more game in the franchise in order to have every single game, numbered game, in the mainline storyline of Resident Evil, to have all of them on one console, and that was Resident Evil 4. I've been trying to find a copy of this used somewhere, and I could never find it. So when this showed up, I ordered a copy of Resident Evil 4 off of Amazon. I got it for, I think, like $15. And yeah, this is an awesome Resident Evil game. I haven't played it on the PlayStation 4 yet, so I don't know if there's any graphical improvements over any of the other versions. I doubt it. But yeah, there's that. But yeah, Resident Evil 3 remake. Everyone, either you love it or hate this, from what I hear. Yeah, I haven't played it yet because I was playing Doom Eternal. Finally beat that a couple weeks ago. Now I'm playing Kingdom Hearts because it's the game I am playing for the podcast. And yeah, Resident Evil 3 is next on my list. It's really short, but then again, so was the original PlayStation 1 version, so I don't know why people are whining about it. What did you expect? They're just going to completely expand upon it and make it like a good, 8-10 hour game or something like that, instead of like the short-ass one where you can beat this in an hour and a half if you really know what you're doing. I've never really played the PlayStation 1 version. I bought it back in the day, I played it for like a day, and I was just kind of like, I think I like part 2 better, so I never really went back to it. So I'm not really overly familiar with it. So this is going to be a completely new experience for me. I understand they took out a couple of areas, which is kind of stupid sounding. But I don't care. I just want to play a fun Resident Evil game. It sounds like this was devised for speedrunning. I mean, if the original game was as short as everyone's whining about, why would they change that? You should have known what to expect. So, shut up. But like I said, I haven't played it yet. I've watched Shondo on Baddest Dude stream it a couple times, and it looked really fun. I know KJ, I think, is going to stream it, or has been streaming it or something. But it's another Resident Evil game, and that's all I care about. So I now have every single numbered Resident Evil game on one console, my PlayStation 4, and that's awesome. So one of the things I decided to do with my tax return was to really try to beef up my PlayStation VR collection. I've been really neglecting it for the longest time, and one of the things that Jason and I talk about on the Super Enabler Brothers podcast is the PlayStation VR, because no one else seems to want to talk about it anymore. So I was like, I need more PSVR games. I'm not sure if I talked about this one in the last pickups video or not. I don't think I did. I don't think it had shown up yet, but I got a copy of Everybody's Golf VR, golfing in virtual reality. Sounded fun to me. Anything in virtual reality sounds fun to me. So I picked this up. Take that as you will. Also picked up a copy of Syndrome. This is like the UK version, or the European version, and it's a first-person sci-fi horror game. And I want to play a lot of these types of games. I love sci-fi. I love horror. Put the two together in virtual reality, I shit my pants. So yeah, I wanted that also. Also picked up, I found this for like dirt cheap, so that's why I bought it. Super Stardust Ultra VR. I remember the original Super Stardust, wasn't it a twin stick shooter? I don't understand, I haven't played it yet. I don't know how this is going to work in VR, but I got it like dirt cheap, and this came from, I do believe, Germany or something, and it looks like they made it into a first-person shmup. At least in this picture here, it looks like you're in a cockpit shooting outward. So there's that. But it also looks like it has the original version. You'll probably just be able to play it in VR. It'll probably just be a little screen in the headset. But whatever. That looked really interesting. So I picked that up. Because, like I said, dirt cheap. Over there. Also picked up a copy of Killing Floor Double Feature. It's a first-person shooter, if I remember correctly, in virtual reality. It's more multiplayer focused from what I understand. It says 2 top games from the Killing Floor universe together for your PlayStation 4 and VR console systems. The Killing Floor double feature also includes fan favorite bonus DLC for Killing Floor 2. It's a 6-player co-op or solo play with a multitude of playable characters to choose from. Wield an arsenal of over 80 weapons, including assault rifles, brutal melee weapons, historical guns, and mad scientist stuff. Extra characters, and yeah, so it's either co-op or single player, which I'll probably do in single player. But first-person shooter in VR, hells to the yes. Absolutely wanted to have this in my collection. The only thing is, since I haven't played it yet, it's still sealed. I just got this, like I said. And I'm wondering if it's going to control like Doom VFR did at first. I think now you can actually use the thumbsticks on the PlayStation 4 controller to move your character around instead of having to do that leaping mechanic that really annoyed the hell out of me when I first got the game. So we'll see how that works. Also picked up The Wizards Enhanced Edition. This is a first-person adventure game, but like it looks like you have a magical bow that you have to do the movements with the move controllers to get it to shoot and stuff like that. And I guess you have to do controller movements with the move controllers to do spells also. And that just sounded really fun to me because I really liked the the Fable the Journey on the Xbox 360, which was a Kinect game, and you had to use hand movements to cast spells, and that worked really well. It was one of the only games on the Kinect that worked, as far as I was concerned. So this sounded like the next step up, except it's in virtual reality. It says, holding the PlayStation Move controllers, you are transformed into a mighty wizard using hand gestures to cast the most powerful spells. That sounds awesome to me. This is probably going to be the next VR game I play. There is no doubt about it. And the last VR game I got is called Quiver. Look at the way it's spelled. That's kind of clever. VR. What's up, Retro Bro? How's it going, dude? Welcome to the stream. It's almost over, but it's cool. This is it looks to me like I haven't played it yet either, but it looks to me like Astrobot, but archery is your main attack form, which is pretty cool. And this I got from France. It took a little while for it to get here. I ordered it at the beginning of the month. It finally showed up like a week ago or whatever, so I haven't had a chance to play it yet, but this I never heard anything about when it was coming out, so I was really excited to get my hands on a copy of it. I told Jason from Corpse Flood Gaming about it, and he was like, "What's this now? Tell me more." So there's that. PSVR, I think it's maybe $200. You can probably find cheap ones on the PlayStation, the Facebook Marketplace. That's where I got mine. Jason found one in Canada for me. Jason from Corpse Flood Gaming found one for $125. That actually came with a game, which is pretty cool. And the last game I have to talk about today is the only game from Limited Run Games that showed up this month. I just ordered a bunch of them on, Monday? I felt kind of ashamed that I did so because I've been trying to cut down on the limited run. But I played the original game in this series, and I really enjoyed it. It was one of the only games I really came close to platinuming. I could probably go back and do it because I think it's still on my PS3 hard drive. It was a digital game originally. We're talking Costume Quest 2. I played the original one. I absolutely loved it. It was like a pseudo RPG adventure game where you play as a bunch of kids during Halloween, and you're like roller skating around the neighborhood doing quests and stuff like that. It was a lot of fun. It was really cute and charming, and it was easy to pick up and play. It's kind of like a non-adult version of the South Park, not the Fractured Butthole, but the one that came before it, Stick of Truth. But it was like a lighter tone version of that, and it was a lot of fun. So when I know that the digital version of this came out, and I was not going to download another digital game, so I found out that this was coming out through Limited Run on physical, and I jumped on it the day it was released. So, yes, absolutely had to have this. Can't wait to play through it. The original game, I want to say I beat it within like 4 or 5 hours, so it wasn't like a super deep, long game. So this should be a fun weekend playthrough. Maybe this weekend I'll try it. So that's all the games I purchased this month. I also picked up one accessory, and one of the problems I've had is because of the whole COVID thing that's been going on, we really didn't have anything to do at work for a few weeks. So I was bringing my Switch to work, and I realized that even though I got baby hands, the controls, like the Joy-Cons for the Switch, really cramp my thumbs, especially my left thumb, because my left thumb I injured at work, and it kind of hurts to hold it in certain positions for like certain lengths of time. So like the small controls on the Joy-Cons really hurt my hands after, when you play it for a couple of hours at a time. So I was looking for options for new controls, and I found this one, and it's the Demon Ex Machina controls, and it's larger. It has a real D-pad instead of just the buttons. Everything's spaced out a little bit more. The controls are bigger. It has different buttons on the back. You have like the triggers like you normally have, or ones on the sides, which are easier to programmable real trigger. I can't talk. Programmable rear triggers. Has the precision, but they call it precision D-pad, and then full-sized shoulder buttons. Programmable. Come on, enunciate, Chris. Enunciate. You can do it. And it's really helpful. I mean, you can only use this when the Switch is in handheld mode. You can't attach it to like the little controller thing that you can put the Joy-Cons on. So yeah, but when you're playing it in handheld mode, they're significantly wider than the Joy-Cons. So it's kind of weird at first that they stick out past the screen a little bit. But once you get used to that, like the grip is way better. It's more comfortable in my hands. The thumbsticks are fine. The D-pad is great. It's totally worth picking up. It's a little pricey, but it's worth it if you have like hand pain and you can't stand how small and cramped those Joy-Cons are like I do. So that's it for this month. That's a pretty decent pickup video. I mean, it's probably the longest one I've had in a long time. Next month, I'm not sure how much shopping I'm going to be able to do because of the whole COVID thing. Trying to save up some money so I can go and visit church in Minnesota once the whole COVID thing blows over. And we'll see how that works out. So next month might be a real short one. Maybe I'll combine May and June together, because hopefully in June we can actually start leaving the house and going into stores again. We'll see how that works out too. So yeah, thing is, I was originally gonna do this video or this live stream tomorrow, because I usually do the pickup live streams on the last day of the month. Turns out the last day of the month this month falls on Thursday. Thursdays are when I do my video game collection live stream, so I didn't want to disrupt anything. So I'll be doing another live stream tomorrow evening at 7 p.m. Central, and that's going to be the first part of my PlayStation 4 collection. I have so many games for my PlayStation 4, I had to split the live streams up into 3. There's going to be 3 different live streams about my PlayStation 4 collection. I have like almost 400 games for that thing, so take that as you will. And I won't be able to talk about a whole lot of them because I haven't played it. Stupid freaking idiot. And this weekend, I'm definitely going to start working on that Captain Algebra response video, the top 10 NES games, or my top 10 NES games. I really need to get back on the whole edited content train. I've been lacking on that since January. So I need to get back on the horse with that. And yeah. So hopefully I'll see some of you tomorrow for the PlayStation 3 or PlayStation 4 Part 1 live stream. Stay tuned for that. And stay safe, everybody. Hope everybody is doing all right. Mental health and everything. Got to keep that up. So talk to everybody later. Chris, the old-ass retro gamer, signing off. Have a good night, everybody. Don't go licking any toilet bowls, please, for my sake.